think everything is shaping up to be okay. So I'm gonna get right into today's coding, which is more don't want to block this. Let's see here. You'd think I'd have everything all sorted out in terms of layout here, but I don't, and that's okay. Alright, so today's work is more FreeCAD Clojure stuff, and that's what I've got going on. And let's just see how that goes. Alright, so I've been working on, let's see what's different from the last stream here. Oops, I managed to do Boolean operations. I got union, difference, and intersection all working. I think, I also have in the 3D, I have extrude linear working now as well, which is useful for a lot of CAD stuff because a lot of it ends up being 2D sketches that you have some detail on there, and then you extrude it into the third dimension, then you just do cuts and stuff like that. So that's pretty powerful. And I've just started working on translation and rotation, that sort of thing. So this here is me just testing out that my translation actually works the way I expect it to. And so far it's looking okay, but the next thing I want to check is actually whether or not I could, like, what's the word, sort of stack translations. So this here, for example, is a translate, just a single translate operation on a cube. But what I want to see is that if I translate things, if I nest a translation in a translation, that it actually works the way I expect. So let's translate like this. So now I've got a nested translate here, like I say, and I have no idea if that's going to work, so I just want to try that. Let's define B as translate 555. Okay. We'll see if that works. I also always have to remember to open up my chat on my phone, because my streaming computer, bless its soul, but it just it just doesn't have the ability to update the chat perfectly. But let's see here. Let's just always make sure things are working. Smile. Yeah, we're good. All right, perfect. Okay. Good, good, good. Let's see here. Right, so yeah, this B element is a nested translate. Let's see what happens when we write expression of B. So it does generate something, which is good. Let's paste in. Let's see if this code will work in FreeCAD directly, because that's the test. Okay. So the way to check the sphere is at 0, 0. Oh, and obviously, so I can just check the position. Oh, it's in inches. What's the conversion again? 25.4, right? So let's do What am I doing? What's happening here? Well, actually I can just do this. So here the cube, the original translate was 10 10 10 and then minus 5 minus 5 minus 5. So we should have a position vector of 5 5 5. So let's just read out that cube. Yeah, that, oops. Placement base. Ooh. Okay, something went wrong here. Let's see, right? So what I would actually want this to be is, see, I thought this plus equals thing would work, but it doesn't seem to be. Because it just assigned the last vector I passed in, not... okay, let's see here. Let's do this. Placement dot base equals vector 0 0 0. Oh, wait a minute. Am I thinking about this correctly? I might not be. Let me walk myself back a step here. Let's do print line, write FCS. Let's do what cube dimension was, what did I do? Cube 2020. All right, this is a mess. Let's let's get back in shape here. I also am gonna move this. It's in my way. Should be able to hear that. That's fine. Oh, okay. All right. So I think I'm unnecessarily confusing myself. What I want to do is double check that the cube's base position from my code, if I do cube 2020, I forget, I think I actually translate it back to its own center point. So let's write expression of that cube 2020. The placement vector has a -10 built into it there, which is half of the lengths of these. So it centers itself. So I actually might be on the right track here. It might be okay. So if the original position of this was -10, and then I moved it to +10 in all three axes, that vector would be 0 0 0. Then, or its position I should say, and then if I once again subtracted this, it should be -5 -5 -5. So that is actually what was seen. So maybe it's fine. Might want to develop a more robust test, but for the time being, I'm going to move on to making a rotation. Excuse me. Okay. So rotation, I'm pretty sure it works with the same placement elements here. I think it's the same. So let's delete this. Actually, we should keep that in there just as a simple reference to the origin, nothing crazy. So here, transform, I can do rotation, and let's do that. Okay, so that did rotate. Let's view fit that. There we go. Now, just checking things are looking good. That's okay. All right, so the placement, if I actually, let me undo. Okay, so the angle, placement angle changes. Of course, that's not surprising. So I believe probably, right, so I think this part of placement is the rotation axis. And this is the degrees of rotation about that axis. So if I need to apply a multiple, yeah, okay, so it calculates, right, what am I trying to say? What am I trying to do here? It combines Euler rotations, consecutive Euler rotations, into a single rotation axis and angle, and that gets passed in. So what is the right approach? What's the right approach? That's the question. The reason this is, the reason I can't literally just copy that exact semantics is because open SCAD rotate doesn't perform the same way, I don't think. Let's see if I know what I'm talking about here. Well, let's start with the simplest case. Let's do a rotate Z, I guess. Right? Like, may as well start super simple and go from there. Let's see. Let's find the right spot to work on this. Translate. Let's see. Split. Rotate. Here we go. Power edit's back on. Def method rotate. Now rotate model has well, actually, this here, this part here is exactly the same structure. So it has an angle and an axis of rotation. So I can at least copy that part, and that actually will work the same way in OpenSCAD. The difference is this here, which is consecutive Euler rotations about whatever axis. So it would be, if you do rotate 10, 20, 30, what this does on some shape, it'll apply in sequence, it'll apply a 30-degree rotation about the z-axis, and then from that new orientation it will apply a 20-degree rotation about the y-axis, and then finally it'll do 10 degrees about x. So you can, I would have to look it up, but there is a way you can combine those rotations about each axis into a single rotation about some new vector. But I'm gonna start with the thing that already will work, which is gonna be this here. So I'll start with that. So in order to do that, how do I do this? I have to define rotate V and rotate C. So actually the first correct thing to do here, def method, write expression rotate V. Oop. And I have to pass in the correct item. So the first one is always the key, which I don't need. This is going to be a map with keys A and then a vector. So it'll be A, XYZ. Oh. AXYZ is the, yeah, there we go. Okay, so keys AXYZ, nice and simple. XYZ. Those are the properties of the rotation, and then here it's just forms. So I want to do, well, let's just see what I can come up with here. So we'll do rotate form this way, and I'm going to pass in A, X, Y, Z like this, and then the form itself. And here I basically I do the same sort of thing here. Yeah, so let's yeah, that looks okay. Oh boy, hope everyone's doing okay on Friday. Not working too hard, not feeling too bad. My head's not in the game, to be totally honest. I didn't get a chance to do any exercise yet. I think that's part of the problem. After the stream I'll go out, but it is raining, that's the thing. The rain always gets ya. Do 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 do. Oops. All right. I am just goofing off right now. Nope, wrong button. There we go. Okay. Right on. Let's see here. Let's push forward with this. Let's do, so the single form comes in unevaluated. So what I have to do is create the object here, basically. And then you do that by running write expression on the form. So it can be any valid object, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, sorry, just looking at my chat, seeing what's up. Okay, so the object exists, and then to get the name of it, I just have this getName function. It's just, since once you evaluate the form with right expression, it's a string. So I've just got this not fully tested, definitely can break in certain situations, getName thing that gets the assigned variable name of the object. The reason is I'm outputting Python strings, and I'm not connected to an active Python environment, so I can't get the object properties directly. I have to just write, I have to get the names and write the Python code to do it. It's pretty messy, but it will work okay for the time being anyway. Alright, so now we're at the point where the position is pretty easy. It's just placement.base. Now I need to figure out in this Python console what how to actually access the other components, the other parts of the placement properties. Does that make sense? doc.cube.placement.rotation. What does that look like? Ooh, okay. So that is a little bit have to think about this now. So the rotation is, I bet that's just a quaternion. And what's the lazy way to do it? That's the that's the question I have for myself. Right? Because I can well, let's see. .placement.rotation. Oh, this is not. Oh, okay. There we go. It looks like I can actually. There's a few more properties, like nested properties here. Angle, axis, the rotation elements as a quaternion. Let's see what this. Oh, I see. Okay. Axis. There we go. Okay, so this here, rotation.axis. Okay, this is good. I can use this. I can go with this. Right, so here I'll just get angle is just gonna be yeah, string doc dot name dot placement dot rotation dot angle. Okay. And then, oop, why did that happen? There we go. And then axis is the same approach, doc dot name placement dot, sorry, phone, yeah, whatever, that's okay. Placement rotation dot axis. And in both cases, it's a plus equals situation so that I can properly nest rotations if I want to. So well, let's finish writing the function out and then I'll test it out from there. So here I do the same thing. String the object with a new line, and then I get actually, I don't know if the plus equals approach will make any sense. Technically what I'll have to do, oh boy, this is not, it's not going to work. I have to multiply the, no. Oh, I have to take a call. I'll be right back. That was not a real call. It was a spam call. Annoying. Very annoying. Okay, so the problem I'm having is, so translations, you can stack them really easily because you literally just add the position vectors together. You can move it to this position, then you add it, and then you can move it to relative, right? It's no issue. But these rotation things, they won't stack. I can successfully do it once, but I can't accumulate them without doing a bit of actual math. So it's possible, but I have to think about the right way to represent that in this. So what's the smart move? Well, let's do so, I mean, the obvious thing, right? The obvious real thing is to get a quaternion implementation. To get best ability. Implement quaternions for the most robust solution. For now, just have a single rotation. So for prototyping purposes, I won't worry too much about that. So I actually can make this much easier by doing angle equals float A, and then axis equals vex string of XYZ, and that will work for a single rotation, or I think it'll work for a single rotation. So that means, let's check this. If I do rotate 45, and then I want the axis to be 0, 0, 1, like that. Cube 20, 20, 20. Okay, so it does dispatch to rotate V, which is what I have implemented partially anyway. So it should work. The only thing I have to do here is actually wire up the function to the method, and that is simple because all I have to do is string join with a new line, the result of map rotate form with the arguments a, x, y, z over forms. Okay, that should work. So now let's try print line write FCS FreeCAD script of rotate 45 degrees along Z a cube of 20, 20, 20. Doesn't work. What did I do wrong here? Well, let's check this. Rotate 45, 0, 0, 1, cube 20, 20, 20. Okay, that's working. Let's write expression of that to test that out. Oops. No, please. There we go. Okay, something's wrong here. Well, let's try to rotate the form. How about that? Rotate form 45, 0, 0, 1, cube. Okay, that works. So what's going on here? Losing what I'm trying to follow here. What did I do wrong? Rotate form with those. Does this rotate V if I just comment this out and do forms? And run this. I think this is nested one level too deep here. So let's see what I've done wrong. I think maybe up here. Here. Oh, yeah, there is, so it's right here. It's already nesting it too deep. So if the first from the block is a number, then you rotate V, and you run rotate V, first block, second block. So first from block is A, second from block is this, which makes sense. And then right, so I would have to do this. Should work. Does that make sense? I guess so. Gotta think through this. What actually makes sense? Oh, this is also, I'm not working on this implementation right now, but that's also incorrect. If I do this for both of these, that should, oops. Oh yeah. I actually have to, I'll be right back. Need to get some water and stuff. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. All right, let's see. What do I have going on here? So I think I have to load file, source, FreeCAD, CLJ, model.cljc, and I think that should fix up my issue here, maybe? Yeah, okay, so now this is only nested once. That is promising. So if I do this, write expression, okay, now we're headed in the right direction. All right, let's have a look at this, rotate. Let's try to run this properly. There we go. And now let's do the whole print line, write FCS of rotate 45 degrees about 001. And I want to rotate a cube of 20, 20, 20. All right, that generated a script. Now let's run the script and see what happens. It didn't work. Perfect. Okay, All right. Oh, this is not correct. And that is because what I need to do, I didn't string join these with a new line, so I forgot I do need to actually manually place a new line in here. And then I should maybe be able to run that. So let's double check. Yeah, this is now on its own line, so it shouldn't have a syntax error. Let's try that again. Looks like it worked. And what's a quick way to tell if it's actually sitting at the right rotation? Let's do I wonder if this will work. I don't know if this will actually work yet. We'll have to find out. So let's define, oops, come on. That's not what I meant to do, but okay. Let's define A now as a list of things. So the first thing, I just want it to be a cube. And the second thing in the list, I want to be a rotated cube. 45 degrees, 0, 0, 1. Cube 20, 20, 20. Now let's try to run this and see if it'll work. I don't know. It did work. That's cool. So interestingly, I realized that the 0, 0, 1 rotation axis isn't necessarily what I actually want it to be. Or is it? Let's see here. So this is the rotated cube. Oh, this is wrong. Something tells me that the correct angle is, or the angle number is supposed to be in radians. So let's try run it with the radian argument instead. Does that make sense? It might make sense. I'm not sure. Let's see what's what here. Let's redefine A. Pardon me. So with radians, 2 pi is a full rotation, so pi is 180, so pi divided by 2 is 90, right? So quarter pi divided by 4 would be 45 degrees, is that right? I think so. Yeah, so let's write that and we'll work with that. Math slash pi this. There we go. That looks like a correct number. We'll see if that works. All right, so that was, I redefined A, and now let's write it and run it. See what happens. I am confused a little bit about where it's rotating relative to, but I also realize this it's rotating 90 degrees, which is wrong, and that's a me thing. I said 4 and I wrote 2. That was just wrong. So let's run that one more time so we can see 45 degrees. It's a little easier to tell what's going on in that case, so let's do that. Pastorino. Okay, there we go. So that's looking correct, but what I expected to happen, what I thought would happen, is since both of these cubes without rotation were placed at, pardon me, we gotta, so if we hide this one and hide this one, this sphere is centered around 0, 0, so it's a rough indication of where the origin is. What I thought would happen with this cube here is that it would rotate about its own center because it is centered around it is originally centered around 0, 0, 0. Just verbalize it. I'm just thinking my way through this. I don't know what the deal is. See, right? Because position stops making sense. One second, I have to check this now. Can you tell I'm just slow and casual today? I'm not trying too hard, to be totally honest. All right, let's see what happens when I run it with a different axis. Maybe that can shed some light on the situation here. I'm wondering if I have to recalculate a new position, but I don't think that's entirely correct. But let's see what I can do. Let's see. Let's also double check here. Cube 7879 dot, that's not what I meant, dot please dot placement, there we go. Right, so that is I'm ping-ponging my focus around a little bit. Sorry for that. Let's rotate it about X and see what's up. Let's try this out. Copy. Pasterino. Okay, so its attachment point, I don't know why it's here. So what I thought would be its default attachment point is the global origin, but that's clearly not the case. There's some kind of concept of local origin, I guess, and it's rotating about that. That's what it kind of appears to be. You can tell too that the placement here, it just calculates a single axis of rotation and a total angle about that axis. So there will have to be work done on this. The reason I'm thinking about this at all is because OpenSCAD, let's try to set up an equivalent story in OpenSCAD. Let's just use one of these, doesn't matter too much. Oh yeah, I was working on a Sierpinski thing. This is not working. Let's ignore that. Let's pull into view the editor. All right, let's oh boy, Control A, delete, my friend, delete. And let's just do a cube. I think it's like this. No? Yes. Okay. Right, so I've got a cube here, and let's put the axes on there. So a cube, it's not centered by default, but let's translate it. Oh, wait a minute. Let's change up how we do that. So cube, center equals true. Does that work? Oh, it does work. Okay, perfect. All right, so here, right, this is what I'm trying to mimic the idea of rotate being something that works like this. So rotate 45 degrees 0, 0, 1. Is this gonna work? Yeah. So see this, it rotated about its own center just like that, right? And if I do center is false, what does that do? Yeah, so it's rotating about the global axis that I set. So if I were to translate this, which I can do, nope, translate. Let's translate it 10, 0, 0. Rotate 0. It's a little hard to tell maybe, but it's rotating. It's still rotating about the global center. Let's do 90, for example. Maybe that's a little easier to tell. Yeah, so it rotated it from the global origin, which is what I thought would happen with this rotate here, but it doesn't seem to be working that way. So I have to think through this a bit. Pardon me, getting a little tired. Been a long week, actually. It's not been a hard week. It's been a good week, but it's still been a long week. Got back into streaming, and that takes a bit of mental energy for me, I will admit. I must admit. If there's anyone watching right now, by the way, feel free to talk in the chat if you want. Hey, Dr. Datomic. Hope you're doing well today. Can you do a translate and then a rotate? It's... Well, yeah, so I'm sure I could. I'm just trying to figure out an efficient way to write the code out, if that makes sense. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you here today. How do I pronounce your name? Mac? Is that correct? MAACL 72? Mac is fine. Okay, cool. Sometimes, well, actually all the time, I'm never completely sure what the right pronunciation for things is. But Dr. Datomic, I might end up doing what you're saying. I just want to make sure I'm like Apple Mac. Oh, okay, gotcha. Thank you. Yeah, so I could do a rotate and translate. I just want to make sure that I'm still emitting something sensible. Maybe I shouldn't worry so much. This is all prototype level stuff, but I don't want to totally wreck things, if that makes sense. Let me see. Right, like I want this same behavior. I want the equivalent code to work and produce the same solid in the FreeCAD context and in the OpenSCAD context. If the same code results in different positions of the objects, you can't rely on that. So I do want things to end up being the same. I think that makes sense. So here, right, I've got the global rotation. That's what's happening. Center is, oh, wait a minute. This rotation is too big. Let's do, there we go. Right, so cube center is true, right? And this is what I want to see. This is what I want to see in the FreeCAD version, and it's not. So the simplest thing might be, after all, to do a translate to it, and maybe, okay, you know what, instead of talking about it, let's see if that makes sense. Let's try that right now. because why not, right? I do have translate built in here, so theoretically I could do it. Can I? I'm thinking about a situation where I actually want to apply a rotate to a group of elements. I don't know its center point by default, so I can't rotate it and then translate it to its center. I need to come up with a way to calculate the center, which is bounding volumes and stuff like that. So I feel like that's maybe the wrong approach. What am I missing? Am I missing something obvious? Oh, perhaps I am. Translate it just to see what happens. Yeah, no, I don't think you're wrong. I'm just thinking about how to actually implement it. The reason is because, so the way this is all working, right? It's a pretty dumb approach in a very, so the approach is super simple at this point. Let's say I want to draw a cube with these dimensions. This function emits this data structure, which is just a vector with tag, the cube tag, and the properties in a map. Don't know enough to say if I'm missing something. Yeah, it's more a question to myself than anything. No worries. I'll get stuff working. Anyway, so the code a user would write is all of this kind of thing here. So I could do, let's say, translate this cube 10 0 0 cube 20 20 20, and it emits a bit of a tree here, right? So there's a translate with the translate properties and the object you're translating, which is a cube, and whatever. So that's the data structure. And then the second thing is you pass it into write expression, and then I can write the expression, that whole thing. I gotta pop it into there, and it spits out a string, and this string is, in theory, exactly what you can put into FreeCAD, and it'll run the Python code there. So this is not running anything. It's got no real intelligence built in. It's just emitting strings. So if I want to rotate and then translate that thing to its own origin so that it's situated properly, I need some way to get the proper position of that object. And unfortunately, since I'm emitting strings, I would have to parse the string backwards so I get some geometric data to get the center point. Is any of that making sense? I don't even know if I'm following my own logic here. I feel like I'm overcomplicating things. Let's see. Let's just try. Let's set this all to 0. Building a Clojure abstraction layer on top of FreeCAD, but it's only talking in one direction. Currently, yes, that's what's happening. It's based off of the approach that Matthew Farrell used in SCAD CLJ. You use Clojure code to emit a data structure that gets transpiled, compiled, loosely speaking, into open SCAD code. So it's a one-way connection. And I was just using that same approach for a one-way connection to FreeCAD as a basis prototyping sort of thing. In the future, it would obviously be really awesome to have a sort of two-way binding situation. But for right now, what I am doing is using the same function calls that the SCAD CLJ library uses. So the idea is it is one way, but my Clojure code can emit valid FreeCAD and simultaneously valid open SCAD. So the idea is you've got one Clojure base and you can emit to different targets. So is that smart long term? I don't know. But for right now, for a simple little project, it seems kind of cool. And I've said it before, this is what I would call prototyping. It's not a library yet anyway that is highly, highly useful. It's just something that's pretty cool to hack around and build on it from there. So that's the idea. But yes, it's a one-way street at the moment. Oh, that's cool. Has a formula editor built in. Neat. Right, so this is rotating about its own thing somewhere. So let's change its position to its original 0, 0, 0, which is its default thing, right? This angle, yeah, so it's got some concept of local origin that I don't know how to manipulate. That's ultimately what I want to do, is I want to am I thinking about this right? Yeah, I want to rotate globally, not locally, about its own point there. That's what I want to happen. It's not happening yet. Maybe there's something in FreeCAD that can help me out here. Let's go to here and have a look at different things. So this is the FreeCAD wiki. It's a mixed bag. Some articles I find are a little confusing or incomplete, but it's been getting better over the years. So lately I've been impressed with the reliability of the documentation in here, so that's really nice. This is documentation for the part workbench, which is the workbenches in general are different kind of use cases that all work in FreeCAD, but you kind of access them. It's sort of like a mode switch. So part design is different than part. There's an open SCAD, ray tracing. You see they're all quite distinct utilities, but they can all use the document database and build off each other. But for, oops, I accidentally switched to the architecture module. See that? So the same parts are used here, but the toolbars have all changed and it gives you different capabilities and stuff. It's theoretically possible to build, like I imagine, I don't know how to actually achieve this yet, but you could build a custom workbench and it could be like Clojure REPL workbench or something like that if you wanted to get weird with things. But I'm not going to go down that road, at least not anytime soon. The real motivation for me doing this at all, it's not that I want to start using FreeCAD for all of my design. It's much more, FreeCAD is a really good way to convert things to step files and to get SVG drawings out of and stuff like that. So eventually I want to build stuff natively in Clojure as I get smarter. I want to have exporters and stuff all from Clojure without needing an external program. But as usable and like as examples of, hey, look, I can make programmatic CAD and it can export stuff that you manufacturing user can already use. This is a really good, call it bootstrapping approach. Because why not use some tools and interface, even in a simple way? Why not use that as a really powerful proof of concept, right? And using a one-way connection here, it's relatively simple to make other exporters. So I can make something that could be a WebGL viewer, OpenSCAD, like I said before, and FreeCAD. I think it's actually a pretty powerful start. And I learn more every time I go. Yeah, it sounds ambitious. Yeah, it definitely is, but it's not something to do all in one go, right? It's a iterative building up of knowledge and capability, a learn as I go kind of thing. But every step along the way produces some useful output, workable tools every step of the way. That's the dream. Whether or not I'm fully capable of achieving it remains to be seen. But for now, I don't need to achieve it all in one go anyway, so I can have fun trying, you know? Let's do, see, so that's fun. That's not, now I'm just messing around. I'm not paying attention. Okay, right. What kind of properties can I manipulate? I was trying to look up information about something like copy. Part scripting. Topological data scripting. I think this is a rabbit hole that doesn't have my immediate answer at the end of it. Also, it doesn't seem to be loading. Oh boy. This is not currently helpful. Although let's do translate, transform operations. Maybe it is helpful. Let's see. Translate a shape. Is there seriously a built-in translate function that I just wasn't paying attention to? It's entirely possible. Oh dear. All right, well, let's see this here. Let's see if something like this is actually what I'm looking for. Then hang my head in shame at not reading the documents beforehand. Oops. Okay, so the rotation center. Okay, yeah, so the center, the axis, and the rotation angle. All right, well, let's have a look. Let's see if this is what I'm looking for. Okay, so shape.rotate. Where am I looking here? Yes. So let's say doc.cube 7882 dot rotate. Oh. Let's see. Part dot blah blah blah. What am I missing here? Okay, part dot make box. Please, there we go. Let's do my shape part dot make box. Is this an object-oriented thing? Do you have to specify methods for each thing you make? I don't know is the honest answer to that question. So the FreeCAD side of all of this is, so this is Python scripting, and it is object-oriented for sure. So I'm not trying to become an expert in the Python side of things today. I'm trying to get the minimal set of script that I can emit with Clojure. And I want the Clojure side to just be functions as much as possible. I mean, of course, I end up doing a method like a def multi to dispatch on the different things, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just poking around. I'm not thinking too deeply, to be totally honest. It's a Friday. I'm just hacking away, you know? That's my excuse. That's my excuse for the day. I also think my shape.show, something's wrong here. Something's not rendering correctly. Please, I need help. No. Right, so this is so confusing. I can't read this at all. In my opinion, OO programming is one circle of hell. So I am inclined to agree. So I'm a self-taught programmer, and I actually started, so I'm a mechanical engineer by schooling background, and my approach into programming was first through stuff like OpenSCAD for CAD parts. In my spare time, I thought it was really cool. Then I started learning VBA and Excel macros and SolidWorks macros to try and automate things a little bit. And then I thought, you know what, maybe learning Python would be a good idea because a lot of engineers use it for a lot of different things. And I started getting into Python CAD automation with this kind of stuff. And I got super confused, like genuinely very confused by how to design a Python program using object-oriented approaches. I never was able to feel confident saying, yes, this is a thing that I should group all of these functions into. I was just very confused by it all the time. So I was trying to become a better developer in general. I didn't know if OO was good or bad. I just felt like I didn't understand enough to know one way or another. Long story short, I ended up watching talks by Rich Hickey, Simple Made Easy, all that kind of stuff, and thought Clojure would be a really good language to learn. I gritted my teeth and got through the initial confusion of going to a Lisp language, which I had never worked in before, and discovered that, yeah, I don't like object-oriented programming. So that's a bit of a winding path, but Clojure is my preference. But I live in a real world, and other people have used object-oriented programming to build out CAD software. So I need a way to connect the worlds without being overly picky about things, if that makes sense. I want pragmatism to be part of how I try to do things. And I mean, in general, today is not the day for deep thought. It's a day for hacking around, but the idea is to avoid traps of object-oriented programming with good functional design and Clojure, and to have fun while trying to figure it out. I'm not here to reinvent CAD. I'm here to focus a lot of CAD tools. You know, like a lot of designs are actually simple in the grand scheme, right? Rich Hickey talks are what struck my interest in Clojure. I think your approach is smart. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I think Clojure is actually well suited for not every CAD problem, but a lot of them. So a lot of CAD work, a lot of manufacturing work is actually, if you really look at it, fairly simple. So a lot of designs are flat shapes cut and glued together. A lot of things are tubes connected at nodes, and you know, simple ideas can build up into complicated things like full-on CNC machines, but the basis is simple at its core. And not everything, but a lot of things would do really well with simple programs to automate a bit of that stuff. So this is a little iPad stand thing I made. I did it all by hand, but it's 3 pieces. It's this is just MDF. It's 1/4 inch thick, but the design itself is effectively 2-dimensional. It's a bar shape with 2 slots, and then it's this weird shape with fitting, like with appropriately sized slots here and a glued joint here. Very simple, but this is the kind of thing that you can imagine would be really quite easy to make a program around. So the length of this can be variable. Let's say you could imagine a situation where you want something that's not specific to an iPad. So you could say you want to adjust the thickness of this. This bottom thing, by the way, hooks onto my iMac screen. Anyway, the point is, the design is quite simple, but the variables you want to change, you want to not have to manually draw every time, right? So that's an example of something that you could just make a program to do it. And I truly think there are a ton of places in manufacturing companies where you can do stuff like that. And Clojure feels like a pretty cool fit for that sort of thing. And it's not without precedent either. AutoCAD has AutoLisp built in. It's a Lisp programming language that lets you automate your AutoCAD designs. So it's been done, but I just want to bring it into 3D a little bit, and open source and all that stuff. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Here I am chatting away. Let's try to figure out what is going on here. So let's, def is not what I want. Let's just do ASDF equals doc.cube 7883, sure. Okay, ASDF dot yeah, this has a yaw, pitch, and a roll to it. What's going on here? All right, I'm just exploring. Content, the height of the box. That's not what I need really. Length. Placement. I mean, this I've seen before. I thought I've seen it before. I am surprised to see there's yaw, pitch, roll. That quite honestly does surprise me. But let's not worry about that right now. How about that? Let's do, oh, come on. All right, let's clear the console. Trying to keep things a little bit readable here. The software is great, but it is not perfect, as you might be able to tell. But that's okay. You know what? I can work with that. It's open source. A lot of dedicated people working on it over the years, so really am not complaining at all. Just working with what I got. Working with what I got. Okay, part.solid.shape. What is this about? Let's see here. This is kind of cool. There, like, you can get lists of all the different things that make up the shape. That's pretty neat. So the vertexes, like, that could be pretty useful actually. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Hey Mike, sorry for being late, missing yesterday. Work was a bear. How's everyone doing? Well, Mike, it's okay if you miss a day. You know what? I'm always happy to be streaming, and it's always great when you're here, so welcome. Glad that your day today is a little bit less bear-like. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well. I don't know how Dr. Datomic is doing. My guess is that they're doing okay. I hope that's true. Anyone else tuned in? I'm not sure. Everyone should feel free to chime in the chat. Don't let me be the center of chat attention all the time. All right, let's see what's going on. What's going on? Okay. Dot shape dot rotate. Interesting. Things are great in Minnesota. I'm glad to hear it. That's good. Mike, you're ready for the weekend, but it's raining right now. Yeah, I've got rain over here too. It's a bit of a bummer. Hoping for sunshine tomorrow. Yeah, me too. Actually, now that you bring it up, I don't know why I never think to check the weather. Like, I always look out my window instead. I mean, that's good for checking the weather immediately, but it's never good for knowing the future. Looks like it's just raining. Looks like it'll clear up at 3 a.m. So I'll go out for a nice nice bike ride at 3 a.m. That's not true. I won't wake up that early or stay up that late. Looks like tomorrow's sunny on my end. It's a conspiracy. The man's trying to keep us down. The weatherman. All right, so it does look like the shape property or whatever has the rotate thing right in there. So looks like this might be what I'm after actually. So let's see here. Let's try this. Pastorino. Turns out the object is immutable. I thought Python had mutable objects all over the place. I'm just confused now. But hey, that's okay. Let's have a little peek. Let's try to figure this one out. Let's try this. asdf.shape.rotate. Instead of doing base.vector, let's just do a vector directly. See if that's anything. I don't know what I'm doing, by the way. I'm just poking things. And so that's the rotate position. This is the rotate axis. So Z, and then let's do 45. No, same problem. Immutable objects in CAD, who knew? I thought I was onto something, to be totally honest, but I guess not. So asdf.shape, what's up here? Shape dot placement. Maybe they made it immutable for easier calculations. Yeah, I don't know. Let's try something else here. ASDF, let's redefine it as doc.cube. Sure, I don't care which cube I use, to be honest. Shape. Okay. This surely isn't going to be it. Maybe you need to create a copy with new properties. That might be it. That might be it. I'm just... Oh, wow. So, yeah, these look like... So all of these are just... They look like read-only properties, right? So it seems reasonable that the rotate wouldn't actually work in this case. But I don't know then what exactly I'm supposed to do. Unless I do something like... What do the docs show for rotate? I don't know. Is there, do you know in Python, is there like a doc reading tool built into it? I don't remember. ASDF dot rotate. Oop. Well, there's a doc string here. I don't know how readable that is. Apply the rotation to the current location of this shape. Okay, what else we got? Yeah, that's not... I think there's a way to list fields using self. Ooh, is it adders or something like that? Man, it's been a while. I'm not proficient in Python, as you might be able to tell. That's okay. There's a lot of interesting stuff, right? Like, there's so much to explore. All right, let's try. So calling rotate with a degree doesn't do what you want for it. So, Mike, I don't know how much context you've had. What I'm actually trying to do is just make on the Clojure side of things, I'm making a thing that just emits a Python script that you can run in FreeCAD to generate models. The idea is I use the same Clojure code that I could send to OpenSCAD, and it could simultaneously send to FreeCAD, both like with no bridge between OpenSCAD or FreeCAD, but you still have the same core code in Clojure to generate models in different environments. So I'm just prototyping out that idea. So I've got, see what the goal is here? Yeah, so sorry, maybe sorry if I didn't, should explain things a little more clearly sometimes. So I've got here, right, so this, in the REPL here, I've got def A is a cube and a rotated cube. So I'm actually here, let me show you what I've got working so far. So I have this little thing here. I can do write FreeCAD script of A, and it spits out this string, and just for laziness I'm literally just copying it. Probably missed it from being late. Oh yeah, no, that's totally fine. I'll happily explain things. So what I just did here was copy and paste this Python code, which was emitted from the Clojure side of things. So there's no actual connection here. I'm just bashing strings together to get a valid Python script that you can open in FreeCAD. So the obvious benefit would be something like, so this data structure A, I don't have it loaded up in my REPL, but I could do write SCAD of A. It would make OpenSCAD code. I could write FCS of A, and I'd get the same shape built in two different environments. That would be amazing, and I'm pretty sure it's achievable. So all I'm really trying to do is build a prototype rotate function that will emit valid Python to rotate the shapes. Now I already have something that actually does that, but it's not behaving in the way that I expected. So here, just want to, well, whatever, that's fine. So here's what I mean by that. So this green highlighted cube here is an unrotated cube. It's centered around the global origin. This cube here is rotated 45 degrees successfully using my implementation here. What is not currently working the way I want is it's rotating about the local 0, 0, 0 of this cube here, which is not the global 0, 0, 0. The reason that matters is because I need I need the behavior to be the same as the behavior in OpenSCAD. So the behavior I want is this. Let's look at 0 rotated object in OpenSCAD. I have it centered at the origin nicely, and if I rotate it 45 degrees and then refresh the view, you see it's spinning around its own center there. Now, if I unrotate it for a minute here, let's say I add a translate in here. So translate this cube. Let's do 0, 30, 0. So it's moving 30 units on the y-axis. See that? It's away from the origin now. And now if I rotate it, if I add that rotate back in, it'll pivot around the global rotation there. So I need the semantics to be equivalent. Otherwise, you're not going to get the same 3D models out of the same code, and that is obviously no good. So I need to, that's what I'm trying to figure out. And the only thing that put me down the path of trying that rotate thing is I started poking at this tutorial in the FreeCAD wiki, and it had that rotate function, so I just wanted to see if I could get that to work. That's all that's happening right now. Just goofing around. All right, Boolean operate. Where did it go? So what I think the real, or the more robust solution is to, all up to speed now? Oh, perfect. Yeah, you or anyone who happens to be watching, please, please, please always ask questions. If you want to know what's going on or something doesn't make sense, please do not hesitate. I never mind explaining stuff, so it's always good. Always good to work on my ability to explain things. And now for a brief tangent, actually, while I have some people actually tuned in, hypothetically, maybe everyone who's here already knows, but I have a YouTube channel, and I'm going to put that in the chat right now just to remind people that it exists. The next video I have, there we go, that's my YouTube channel. The next video I'm going to be working on this weekend, and hopefully should be up again soon, is actually about my Emacs setup. A few people have asked about that, so I think that'll be an interesting one. That's totally unrelated to what I was talking about. I just wanted to share the link before I forgot. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's go. So there's a .rotate Z here. What is... Oh. Base.matrix. Oh, you're... I'm preaching to the choir, I guess, eh? Everyone currently tuned in knows about the YouTube channel. Sorry, don't mean to spam you then. I just... You know, the whole concept of self-promotion is not a thing I'm great at yet. It's a skill I'm working on. Please bear with me as I learn all that stuff. What was I doing? Okay, yes. Let's do base.matrix. Let's have a look at what this is all about. So now let's do asdf.rotateZ, right? And then I want to do math.py. Oops. You know what? Forget it. Let's just do rotate 1.57. I'll just... All right, so ASDF is now some matrix. Okay, so how can I use that? Is that useful to me? Is this a good idea is the other question. Okay, so here, right, we've got transform shape. Oops, 7897 transform. They don't have that. Dot shape. Dot transform. I'm trying this again for, I don't know why, to be honest. Oops. Please. I don't think this is going to work. I think I messed it up. Yeah. Okay. Not getting anywhere with that. So, let me think about this. What's the right thing to do? All right, let's try something different here. Sorry, just distracting myself. All right. Yeah. I am distracted today. Sorry about that. Okay. Right. We've got draft rotate. I don't think that's really what I want. Just wondering. Oops. Oh, garbage. All right. So here, right? The box length and all that stuff. I don't care about that. The position of this, though, I kind of do care about. What if I zero it out? Right. So that means, well, that doesn't actually help me. That's not what I need. All right, let's see here now. What are these? Okay, so we've got angle, that we've got the axis. Yeah, no, that's not what I need. Oh. Oh, maybe this is Euler angle. Not really what I want, although Okay, so here, right, this center here is closer to what I want, but not exactly right. Okay, reset everything. Euler angle. Okay, okay. We're kind of getting somewhere. Let's delete this cube. I don't need to see it right now. Right, let's mess around with this cube. It's currently centered the way I want it to be. So let's get into placement, editing. If I do use center, well, if I do nothing but edit this roll value to 45 degrees, what does that end up doing? Okay, it is not positioned where I want it to be. Let's reset it. No, cancel. Okay. Let's use the center of mass now, and let's roll this now and see what's up. Still not what I expected. Still, let's click apply and okay, right? So the fit, oh. So that sphere is marking the center. Yeah, so it's not pivoting where I want it to be. So let's undo a few things here. There we go. Try again. Let's just do this. Axis Z, angle 45. Oops. Sorry, I'm just kind of exploring the different settings to see if I can actually understand what's happening. That's all. Use center mass around Z, and we'll do 45. Yeah, it's just not rotating around what I expect it to rotate around. That's the whole problem. I don't understand, unfortunately. See, I thought here, briefly, I thought that this use center of mass thing would work, but it doesn't. It's not changing where this rotates around. So, I don't get it, unfortunately. Is it translating also by the negative here? Yeah, so if I change these to 0, 0, 0, I'll show you what happens. It that translate has moved the corner of the cube to the global 0, 0, 0. Oh, wait a minute. Something just clicked. Maybe, let's cancel this. Maybe if I match these values using the wrong keyboard commands, paste, 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 please. No. See that? It's still, although it is now rotating about a different point. So let's see what's up. Maybe the center is not negative, it is the positive. There we go. Okay, now we're on to something. See that? so this here, this center is referring to the, okay, the translation is the global position of the thing. So it's translated from the wherever the local origin of the object is, that local origin is globally positioned based on the numbers in the translation column. The center is the position of the local coordinate system relative to the original local coordinate system. And then you can rotate about that center position. So for me to want to rotate things about the center of a shape, if I know it's originally located, this is confusing maybe, but basically if I know it's centered about the global 0 position, I can temporarily set its center for rotation to be the positive inverse. Does that make sense? I can just multiply its position by a -1, -1, -1 to get its local center and then apply a rotate. Maybe that's correct, maybe it's not, but let's explore that concept. Let's click apply here and click OK. And what I'd like to see is, let's see what garbage we've got going on here. Okay, so here I'm gonna clear this console and get a clean reading of this. So let's go back in here. Let's edit this placement one more time. Okay. Oh no. What happened here? Why did it do that? Well, okay. Let's not worry about that. Let's do the positive of this, right? Paste, please. Yeah, okay. There we go. So regardless of the translation's position, this number kind of works. Yeah, so yeah, I think you're right, Dr. Datomic. It must have kind of combined the things into a single thing here. Okay, so let's have a look here at what it did in the console. Okay, see, so that's kind of funny. It's not exactly gonna help me out right now because what's going on here, right? It's setting the placement using, so the UI that I used to set all those numbers must be invoking a calculation that's not showing up in the console here, because all that's happened is it set things on its own. So what have I learned? Yeah, so can you mimic those commands from the console? So that's what I'm trying to figure out. So let me try to pull this combo view back together here. How did I do this? Maybe this is okay. Let's see what's up. Right, so let's go here. apply. So see what's going on here, right? It oh, it's also off by a bit, but that's fine. So it's not emitting any commands into the console until I click apply, right? And so here, if I do nothing but this, if I change the center to positive 0.39, or if I set it to this, click apply, it won't change anything. Nothing's changed. Wait, is that true? Sorry, back up a second here. Yeah, see that? Nothing has changed because... Oh, no. No. Back that up one step here. This changed. Okay, wait. We're getting somewhere. Let's try. Let's try. Let's do placement. App.placement. Let's see. All right, let's leave this -10, -10, -10. Then app.rotation, which has a vector in it, which is going to be 0, 0, 1, which is easy. Then the angle, I think in degrees. And then here, I don't know if this is going to be right, but let's do 10, 10, 10. Didn't work. Okay. Is that because... Why is it? Is it because I'm lazy? Didn't these have to be vectors? Oh, come on. Let's try this. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm losing the plot a little bit here. Vector. One more. Vector. Oh. Okay, that worked. All right. Promising. Did it rotate about the correct axis? Yes, it did. Okay, that might be what we're looking for. All right. Well, let's, ooh, oh, geez. That's a win, fellas. Yeah, that's right. I'm genuinely surprised that worked. Ridiculous. Okay, so let's try to pop this in here. So let me copy and paste that little example into here at least. So I've got something working. So let's get this in, paste that there. So this here, app.placement, is that? I wonder if that's available or if I have to import that. I don't know. We'll find out. We will find out soon enough. so here we're close. We've got to do right, so the problem still is related to this vector here, right? I need a way to be able to calculate that on the Clojure side, don't I? Well, maybe let me just give me a minute here. I'll be right back. Gotta check stuff. Okay. I have to go soon, actually. But I just realized I might be able to cheat my way through this a little bit. So if I take doc.cube, whatever, I wonder if there's some properties I can get out of this. Oh man, once again, foiled by the weirdness of this app. Let's clear this console. Have a little peekarino here. Okay, doc.cube. Is there some kind of centroid or the tooltip's in the way. Ugh, okay. Let's see here. The reason I'm thinking about this is just so what this last vector here, vector 10, 10, 10, is the center of that shape. So I can come up with a way to calculate the centers of any shape I pass in on the Clojure side. And that might actually be a smart thing to do. But before I go down that road, because that'll inevitably be related to, I'll have to do bounding volumes, I'll have to do group bounding volumes, I'll have to do some 3D geometric computation stuff. All of that's fine, but I don't want to do it today. So I'm wondering if there is a way to just have FreeCAD do all that work. And I'm looking for something like center of mass or something like that as a thing to calculate. And I assume that it should be there. But if it's not, then this whole line of code will work. It just means I will have to come up with a method of calculating the center of mass on the Clojure side. Not a big deal, but the laziness in me today doesn't want to do it. So there. Let's see, maybe .shape has some information in it. Well, there you go, center of mass, look at that. Is it correct? So yeah, I just found it. Calculate center of mass method on the object. It's on the shape of the, so there's the object itself, it has a shape, and then it has a center of mass. And currently, so the shape is, got it a second too late. So we're seeing here, this is what you get with float, right? And CAD has this all over the place. You just get used to seeing it. These are e to the negative 16. It's effectively a vector of zeros. It's an engineer zero. So that makes sense because I've been playing around with this, copying, pasting floats. I expect it to be not actually zero, but it's close. So the center of mass there is what I want. It's the global center of mass. I wonder if there's a different... That's cool. You can get its transformation matrix. So what that actually means is I could probably also handle this by just composing matrix transforms instead. I don't know. I'm thinking too far. I'm thinking too much right now. Center of mass could be helpful. Bounding box could be helpful. Principal properties? Oh, it's a moment of inertia stuff. I don't need that right now. Child shapes. Common. Oh, never mind. That's different. Complement. No, that's not at all helpful right now. Distance to shape. Minimum distance to another shape. Yeah, not what I need. A lot of cool stuff in here though, that's for sure. Export stuff, extrudes. This is not really what I need anymore. Get element, sub element, no. Nullify? No. Optimal bounding box, that's cool. Project, proximity. revolve, rotate. Oops. Yeah, same problem. Okay, so this... Well, actually, so... here's what I could do as well. I think I can do this. I think it's possible to do vector. Let's take a practice vector here. And I don't know if this will work, but I think it might. Vector -1, -1, -1. It dot producted it. That I want the cross product. No, I just want I want to map a multiplication. Do I know what I'm talking about? No, I don't. Clear this. Right, so this vector, let's do vector 10, 10, 10 times -1. Okay, that can be useful. Here's the problem I'm having. I want to use the center of mass to get this, to build this vector around where to rotate the object. But when I build the object from the Clojure side, it's already translated to its center point. So the center of mass will be 0, 0, 0 every time by default. What I actually want is, or what I can actually do instead, is apply a rotate, then use the center of mass, then multiply it by -1, and then apply a translate of that vector. So the center of mass will be 0 at the very end of all of that. That's the chain of operations that I think I can do. So let me write that down for a minute. Rotate the shape about the axis by angle, then find C of mass, get and do C of m times -1, translate by that vector to center the shape again. Now the problem with this is that it'll only work, or it'll always just thinking about this. I need to get the center of mass before I do any transforms. Get original position by using C of m. So because without this here will always move a thing back to the origin, even if it's way out somewhere else. Oh man. This is also not going to work because I need to there's got to be a better way to do this. There's got to be something smarter than this. But let's, at the very least, let's do it the dumb way. Let's start with this. This is wrong, but it's a start. There. Okay. Right? Start with something wrong and then fix it. That'll work. I mean, eventually I'll get something that makes sense. So, okay. Right. All of this can actually stay. That's fine. This does successfully rotate stuff. But what I want to do first is now... So this is taken care of by this. This I need to do now. So I need to create something that'll actually create what I want. So CM, center of mass. Bad name for it, but I'll stick with it for now. So what I need to do with this is actually... I'm going to put it before angle and axis just because. CM is string doc dot name, where was it? Dot shape, right? Dot, yes. The wrong thing. There we go. Okay, so I need to save the center of mass into a variable name. So wait, do I? Yes, I do. Right, so, oh boy. Anyone else having a little bit of a hard time following this? Sorry about that, but things are confusing sometimes. Let's do... Let's get clever with it, like dangerously clever. So let's do string, the name of the shape I'm working with, but we're going to append underscore CM to it, so that's a variable name, equals doc.name.shape.center of mass. It equals that times -1, which I think I can do in a one-liner here, right? Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I don't need it to be -1 at all. Boy, oh boy, I am confusing myself. So I'm actually not going to use this variable for the wrong method right now. So I'm going to do, so this is transform center of mass, which is after it's been rotated. Okay, so you get that after a rotation. This is very confusing. I don't know if it's the right, well, I know for sure it's not the best design, but prototype, you know, get something kind of working and go from there. This is the last thing I'm doing before I call it for the day, so I want to try and get something kind of useful out of this at least. Right. So we put the object in there, we've changed its angle and we've changed its axis. That effectively rotates it. Now all we need to do is change its position to the new XCM times -1. That's what I'm trying to achieve. And I do that by adding a few things to this string. So here we do angle axis. We've got doc.cube.placement.position.base is a vector. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So we can copy this. Base, angle axis, and base. Placement.base. So here we can do the same kind of structure here. So base equals, and you can see very clearly why this is not a good design, right? Because I'm building strings directly. I'm kind of writing Python and just having Clojure just spit it out. It's not, this isn't a really smart design. Like what would make a lot more sense is as needed build, keep things in Clojure maps and data structures as long as possible. So for every object, have everything be a map that contains all of the relevant data I need, and then just at the very end, when I'm generating the Python strings, you just pull the basics, and you have a more generic Python string emitter than this weirdly specific jumble, right? So there are ways to do that, and I probably will have to, but that's not happening right now. So this new base, I can actually just set it equal to the result. Yeah, so this, yeah, I can set it to something like this. It'll look like base equals name underscore XCM times -1. So what have I just done here? This is very confusing to follow because, well, I think it's confusing. So this will just create a bit of Python code. It'll up here. Oh, hold on 1 second. Let me make sure. I need to, I would have messed this up. I need XCM to exist here because that will ensure that the XCM variable actually gets made in the Python environment, and then I can call that variable. Wait a minute, I don't actually need to make it a variable here either. I could just one line it by doing base equals I'm going to do that. Okay. Here, XCM is not, I'm not going to make a variable name for it right now. I'm going to do that. Oh, yes. XCM is string, doc name, shape.center of mass. So then base can just be base equals because base is this part of the string equals XCM times -1. Yes, XCM times -1. Let's see if this makes any sense. Something tells me this isn't totally gonna work, but hey, that's part of the fun, right? Okay, let's have a look here. Copy, paste. Ooh, close, but not quite. that's strange. Oh, did I typo center of mass? It's very possible that I did that wrong. Let's go back here. Doc.cube. Please. Clear the console. Camel case O. Is that what it is? You're probably right. Let's go back here. Where is it? What are we looking at here? Oh. Yes, you are exactly right. There it is. Yep, that doesn't exist. Center of mass. Let's give that another go. Hey, you were exactly right about that. All right, let's see what trouble I've brought upon myself. That didn't seem to actually work. After all of that, it doesn't seem correct. Let me confirm that. Okay, empty document, paste it in. Yeah, no, it didn't work. That's hilarious. Okay, why not is the next question I have for this. It rotated at 45 degrees, which is a nice thing. I'm happy about that. This position is confusing to me a little bit. All right, we're slowly getting somewhere, but we're not getting exactly where we need to be. And I'm at 2.5 hours. I do think this is gonna have to be it for me for the weekend, or for the week, and work on some videos this weekend, and I'll be back streaming on Monday, right? Yeah, should be. But yeah, this is something. It's progress of a kind. Even if I'm failing along this whole process, my strategy is to fail until I can't fail anymore, and then I'll have a solution. It's a flawless plan, really. So yeah, I'll just have to figure that one out. Let's have a peek for a minute at this. What does this number actually, end up as? Angle, and the rotation axis is that. Brain will solve it at 3 a.m. tonight. You know what? You might be right about that. It just takes some total other, like, focus on completely other things for the subconscious to really work through some stuff. So I'm sure there's a solution somewhere. You are definitely right about that sort of thing. You know what? I don't know what I think. It's not. Let's see where it puts it. This is the last thing I'm trying. I'm just seeing what's different when I do it this way. It's not going to be right, but it'll be something. Yeah, it just swings it around somewhere else. Okay, that's fine. All right, I'm going to get going. Thank you so much for chatting and tuning in and all that stuff. Yeah, that's all I got for the day. I don't know what I'm trying to think of something to wrap things up with. I don't have anything to say. Just have a good weekend, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And I will be back on Monday. Hopefully I'll see people around. All right, have a good weekend, everyone. Goodbye.